Hello friends, my name's Dana and I thought I would take a minute to show you a Sterling Ink common planner that I have set up to use as a faith journal. So I have it in a plastic cover that just comes with the Sterling ink. You get all the shine from the cover, sorry about that. So it is a July start calendar and I've decided to use this as a faith journal / Bible notes kind of a thing. I've been taking my sermon notes in a completely different type of a book and I've decided to switch to this. So I feel like I can put my sermon notes in here and it's large enough to be able to put also my notes. So when you go into the Sterling Ink common planner, so you just have a blank page, which I haven't decorated yet. I probably will decorate at some point. And then you've got your first page, the 25-26 common planner. I have decorated this. I don't know what I'm going to use this for exactly. I have not decided at this point what I'm going to use this calendar page for. This one, I have an idea, but I'll get back to that. So I've left that blank. This is actually a goals page. I will fill in some goals in here. I just need to finalize what exact goals I'm wanting to do. And then here we have a yearly tracker. So this, I actually am using it for prayer, reading, and journaling. So, and I've just picked the colors that go with this month's theme that I've done. And then here I've just done like a grateful for page. I've also put like the colors. I like that sometimes just to be able to look back and see what colors I used or to know like what markers to get or what themes I've already done. Anyway, but I did do that and keeping track of the things that I'm grateful for. And then that just continues. These are like quarterly trackers. I got it in July. So the only thing I backfilled was the Psalms my brother and I have been reading, and then the 90-day Bible reading plan that I've been doing. And I decorated it with some stickers that came from a book. It was several pages that I just took out of a book and just kind of used them all over this month's spread. So I just mark them off as I do them. And then this is July's, and same thing. I've got the Psalms so far that my brother and I have read together. My mom and I are doing a Samuel study, so I have that marked. We didn't do it Friday, so I didn't mark it off. And then my Bible reading plan through the YouVersion app. It's like a 90-day chronological Bible reading plan. I'm really liking it. And then I did go ahead and just fill out the Bible reading plan for the next months. I didn't do the study that I'm doing with my mom and brother, only because with my brother and I, it's literally we're trying to read a psalm every single day. So we have been known to both of us forget, like we did yesterday. So I only was going to do that a month in advance because come the following month, we might be a little bit behind and I'll have to remap those. But the 90-day plan so far, I'm like ahead of it. So I'm pretty confident I can keep that. And then you have all these pages, these calendar pages. Then it goes into the weekly. So my church does this thing and it basically does this thing called God Time. And they break it down into 5 days of the week and they give you a verse and then a reflection and then something that you're supposed to respond. My intended use for this space, and so far I'm only into this 1 week, but I was doing this in a notebook and I've decided to just do it in here. So these weekly pages, that's what I'm using this for, is for the reflection for church. This is what it looks like not decorated at all, but I like to decorate stuff. I use it more if I decorate it. This is how I am. And this is like really thin paper. It's kind of similar to Bible paper, but it's very thin. So you get like 500 pages in this book and it is not very heavy. It's actually lighter than my other journal that's smaller. After doing the God Time through the week, then the last day of the week, because this does run Monday through Sunday, so the last day of the week, I like to write the notes in here and then just highlight where it is I'm going to write a word that fills in what the message is for that day. So like yesterday's was to be the salt and the light for the world. And so the sermon was on Matthew 5:13 through 16, and then also 2 Timothy 4:1 through 5. And so the minister just had like a lot of his key points and things that he picked up from here. And if it's not in the key points and there's other notes that they're talking about that I feel like I would get benefit from, then I put it in here. And then, so this week is now actually, today is the last day for this week. So then to the daily pages. And these daily pages, they literally are just blank pages. They're blank graph paper, so you can use them however you want to use them. How I've chosen to use them though, is I do want to have a setup I want to start the month in here so that I know that this is like the month that I was doing this particular study. I got some July stickers and some faith stickers from Hobby Lobby. These are from that book, and the book is Caesthetic Plans, but actually it's a sold out book. So I can link Caesthetic Plans for you guys, but you won't be able to find this specific books, but she's got a ton of other ones. And then washi that I've been using is, one of them is from Archer and Olive, one of them I got at Michael's, and one was a set that I got at Hobby Lobby. I just kind of look for just anything in general that I feel like matches the color schemes that I like to do. So what I chose to do here is, so this actually is further what I started back here on these pages. So initially, I like to write out the verses. So out here, if there's enough room to write out the verses, so like Matthew 1 and 2, I had plenty of room to write out the verse. And then I was able to write what I'm supposed to respond to, but I didn't have room to actually respond in there. And then like this one though, 1 Samuel 16, 1 through 13, way too much to write, but I like to write it out because it gets in my brain better when I write it out. Now I do not do this with everything. It's just things that I'm specifically focusing on. I do like to write scripture because it just helps me to understand it better, and it helps me just to like really dive deep into it. So with this one, then what I just put on here is continued and then what page, because these pages are numbered back here. So this is page 1. So I continued each of them. So this is the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I did date this particular page. I didn't do them on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I did them on July 4th. I don't always need to date them. I just kind of thought, well, I'll just date it so that I know when I got the calendar, because I got it on July 3rd on my birthday. And then I finished with the reading. Okay, so that was the reading that I did for this week. And then I am actually starting in Matthew and doing some deep dive notes. So far I've only done Matthew 1, but I did a Bible study a year ago that was by Kate Arthur, and I can't think who the co-author was, but it was a study of Joshua, Judges, and Ruth, and it basically had you write down, it had like a space in the Bible study book where you could write a chapter summary, and I really loved it. Like, it really helped me to kind of know like which chapter was it that the angel appeared to Joshua and told him that you're on sacred ground, to take off your shoes. So I love that I was able just to flip back, and numerous times I flipped back into that to see where it was I had put that. This I felt like would help me to keep everything that I am doing with Bible studies, reading books about how to read the Bible, just any of that kind of stuff that I'm reading that's going to help me with my studies, that I would like to keep in this book. So we'll see how it goes. I did get the biggest one. I didn't tell you guys that at the beginning. This is a B5. So it is plenty of room, which I wanted because I wanted to have plenty of space. So anyway, so I just am doing the chapter summary and doing the squares for how many chapters there are. So each time I complete a chapter, I get to mark off a square. Just helps my mind to not get like distracted from it. I did Matthew chapter 1, the genealogy of Jesus. You would think that there's not like a lot of stuff that you could write about that. But after having read like the Old Testament and how some of these folks that are in here, some of these men that are in here are like what their stories are and how they're related to the Messiah, I just really like to break this down. So with Matthew, he did it where it was generational. So there's 14 generations between Abraham and David, 14 generations between David and the Babylonian exile, and then 14 generations between the Babylonian exile and the Messiah. So I did write this down. So I literally marked down from Abraham all the way to David, and then from David to Jeconiah, and then Jeconiah down to Jesus. So that way it shows like the 14 generations. But then I'm going to work through chapter 2 and put those in here. And so my hope is with this journal / calendar planner, I guess, is that I would have enough places to go through like all the different Bible studies that I'm doing throughout this year, and just my own individual studies and that sort of thing, and note them all in one place that I can keep for, to refer back to. And I know what year it is. So I had just learned about this common planner not very long ago, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this. I really love the paper. I really love just the look of it. I like having everything in one spot for the year. So we're going to just try this out and see how this goes. So, but anyway, with that, that's all I have, guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and you have an awesome day. Bye.